Tollins, Explosive Tales for Children by Conn Iggulden, with additional voices by Clive Room. Clive's Teeth, sponsored by Conn Iggulden.
How to Blow Up Tollins. Chapter 1.
The year 1922, during the reign of King George V.
Tollins are not fairies. Though they both have wings, fairies are delicate creatures and much smaller. When he was young, Sparkler accidentally broke one and had to shove it behind a bush before its friends noticed. In addition, fairies cannot sing B-sharp. They can manage a very nice B-flat, in quite a sweet voice, but B-sharp comes out like a frog being run over by a bicycle. Tollins regard fairies as fluttery show-offs and occasionally use them to wipe out the insides of cups. Tollins are also a lot less fragile than fairies. In fact, the word fragile can't really be used about them at all. They are about as fragile as a housebrick. Before that summer, when the world changed, Sparkler had looked forward to a full life containing nothing more dangerous than wrestling angry bees off flowers or occasionally dancing with other Tollins at the full moon. He loved to dance, even when he trod on the toes of the others or tripped over a fairy ring. Fairies never tripped or fell over, so when they tried to take part, Tollins always began a singing competition instead, in the key of B. If the fairies stamped their little feet and rose to the challenge, they sounded like silver bells being dunked in soup before they gave up. Tollins enjoyed that. When Sparkler was born, his parents enjoyed a simple life of fluttering around at the bottom of people's gardens. The most exciting thing that had ever happened to them was being chased by two little girls, until they were fortunately distracted by a pony. Adults were no danger. They just couldn't see Tollins, even if they were really close. At first, the Tollins had thought nothing of the serious men with beards and even larger boots, who suddenly seemed to be everywhere, measuring things with bits of string and nodding to each other. Yet in just a short time they had transformed the little village of Chorleywood. First they had run rails for clanking trains, then they had built their firework factory. It had very thick walls and an extremely thin roof, just in case. The Tollins hadn't minded the fireworks being tested. Some nights Sparkler had gathered with his parents and grandparents just to watch the serious, bearded men light them one after the other. None of the fireworks went wee or had colours back then.
Some people have suggested that Chinese Tollins were used in the fireworks more than 1,000 years ago. This is not that story.
They just went bang and made the men jump and clap their hands together, almost like the children they had once been. The great firework discovery had been an accident, really. One of the youngest Tollins had crept too close to a firework on the bench of the factory. While no one was around, the little one climbed into the tube of something called a Roman candle. Just as he was tasting a pinch of the black powder inside, it all went dark, and he was trapped. The other Tollins searched for him, of course, but there was no sign, and when they gathered to watch the testing, no one smiled. That night, the first fireworks were the usual sort, jumping and splattering, but then the Roman candle was lit, and the world changed forever. Sparkler had been there, sitting on a wall with his family. He still remembered the way the Roman candle leapt into the air, trailing a shower of blue sparks before exploding with a sound that knocked one of the men down. The man's beard was on fire when he stood up, but that didn't stop him cheering as he patted the flames out. In the silence, in the night air, the Tollins heard the voice of the little one they had lost. "Help!" he yelled. The older Tollins looked at each other, and their wings vibrated so fast you could hardly see them. They leapt up into the darkness, and one of them caught the little Tollin as he fell. He was bruised but alive, though his wings were in tatters. Those would grow back in time, but he also seemed to have gone deaf and couldn't understand the questions they were all asking. "What?" he kept saying. "I was in the firework. No, in it. Didn't you see? What?" Deep under Chorleywood Station, the High Tollin had called a council of seniors together to discuss the problem. While his parents spoke at the meeting, Sparkler had tended the burned one who kept shouting, "What?" The little one's name had been Cherry, but he insisted they call him Roman after that. Tollins had come into contact with humans before. They were too curious for their own good, and humans always seemed to be doing something interesting. Small Tillets were still told the tale of the Tollin who wrestled an apple off a
Sample complete. Ready to continue?